Hey everyone, so here is a quick video on how to install the Anypoint Monitoring Agent. So quick background here, Anypoint Monitoring came about recently. It provides the ability to consolidate logs from all your different Mule runtimes, be it in the cloud or on premise. If your runtimes are in the Cloud Hub environment, then the ability to grab those logs is pretty much built into the platform. You just need to enable that within the Anypoint monitoring settings. If you're deploying your apps to a runtime on premise or within your own cloud platform like Azure or AWS, there is a need to install a Anypoint monitoring agent co-located with that Mule runtime. So this video is going to kind of cover that process to allow you to take the logs from that runtime and push them into Anypoint monitoring. It is also used for the Anypoint visualizer that allows you to kind of keep track of those runtimes, be it when they're on premise as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and switch gears and jump into the platform here. Okay, so within the Anypoint platform, if we go into monitoring, you can see that these out of the box are your Cloud Hub applications and APIs. Underneath settings, for your Cloud Hub environment, you can see that this is where you're going to go ahead and enable or disable the Anypoint monitoring for each of those applications as well as APIs. If you're going to be running on premise, this is where you need to go ahead and download the Anypoint monitoring agent and install it. So in order to do so, you're going to select the environment that your Mule runtime server is registered to. So you can see here I have one called Mule Linux. And when I selected that specific server, it went ahead and populated the scripts or the commands that we need to run with the ID for that specific server. So after you do that, you're going to go ahead and click on download am.zip. And within your Mule folder or the base directory, you're going to go ahead and take that zip file and you're going to expand it, and it's going to create a folder called am. And you're going to copy this into your base directory of the Mule runtime, not into the bin folder, but to the base directory. So you can see there's a new folder here called AM, okay? And then going back over or opening up a terminal window, let's go ahead and go to the base directory here. You can see here we're in the Mule Enterprise Standalone 4.2.0 directory. What we're going to do is go into that AM folder, and we're going to run the command that was generated for us. So let's go ahead and run this one for Linux, Unix. We're going to copy that command. We're going to paste that. And when you run it, if it's successful, you're going to see that it says Mule agent has been successfully configured. And then we want to go ahead and restart the server. If we click here, it's going to bring you into the Anypoint Runtime Manager, and you can go ahead and restart it there. I'm just going to go ahead and do it from the command line. So I'm going to go ahead and go up one level, go into the bin folder, and then run Mule restart, and this will restart the Mule runtime and take on the new configuration for that monitoring agent. And then once that's up and running, we're going to go ahead and run the final command here to do a .bin setup on that specific agent. So you can see that the Mule runtime has been restarted. Let's go ahead now and go up one level, go back into the AM folder, and then run that bin setup command. And then once that setup command is run, it's going to go ahead and say that it's restarting FileBeat. It uses FileBeat to grab the logs and push that into Anypoint monitoring. That monitoring agent will be up and running now. Okay, so if we come back over to Runtime Manager here and look at the servers here, that's the Mule runtime that has the agent installed next to it. Let's go ahead and jump over to the visualizer and see that runtime if it's registered here yet. Okay, so it hasn't been registered yet. So let's go ahead and deploy a dummy application to that runtime to start seeing the logs. So we can come over here. Let's go ahead and deploy a new application. Let's go ahead and call it Hello World. We'll deploy it to that Mule runtime. Let's go ahead and upload a file, specific project, and I think it's in my base directory here. We'll go ahead and upload a project called Hello World. and we'll deploy it. And while it's deploying, let's just go ahead and look at the application really quick. It's pretty basic. It's just a HTTP listener, and then the transform component is going to return back a message saying hello world. So pretty basic, but we just want to be able to kind of show the logs from that Mule runtime being collected and pushed into Anypoint Monitoring. So it's uploading. Let's give it a couple more seconds here. All right, it's up and running now. It's starting up. We can come back over to the terminal window and actually see it loading up. So if we go back to the base directory and go into the logs, we can run a tail f, oops, and see, oh, you can see that that new app was deployed, initializing the application, and then it should be up and running shortly, okay? And then coming back over here, let's go ahead and browse and open up that, or run that application. It should return back hello world. So if we run this a couple times here, eventually you'll see that it's going to go ahead and write information to the logs. And here's the information that's being written to the Anypoint Monitoring. So we're going to give it a couple minutes and then jump into the Anypoint Monitoring and actually see the data that's being collected from that runtime. Okay, so back in Anypoint Platform, if we switch back to, let's first look at Visualizer. In Visualizer, you should now see that specific application that was deployed to the on-premise runtime show up in the Visualizer. Additionally, if we go now into monitoring, in the built-in dashboards, we can go ahead and select that application now. Oops, let's go ahead and choose production, and then we should see the hello world. Click on view, and then as you can see, we can start seeing some of the metrics from that runtime show up in here. We gave it a couple messages. Additionally, if I have log search enabled on my account, on your account, you should see the logs also be consolidated and show up in log search. But hopefully this gave you a good idea or kind of showed you how to install the Anypoint Monitoring Agent. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always here to help.